So it's been raining for over 2 weeks non-stop here, and our farm is now officially flooding.
Yeah.
Right. So what we want to do is want to show you right now how it actually looks like, because this will actually affect a lot of the planning that we have to make here. Right. We now have to set up the beds a lot more, like differently. We have to structure what we're actually going to do here now.
Yeah, exactly. I think it comes with just buying property in general, but especially buying a farm. Even if we had actually stayed in Nelspruit for like a year to understand the different seasons, we wouldn't have been able to notice this kind of things when buying a farm, because it's so big, you never really know what goes on in other parts of the farm. So yeah, you never know what goes wrong, and something has gone wrong on our farm.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things go wrong almost all the time now. It feels like that's the trend. But when we moved in here, we were worried about the slope. Like, okay, well, it's very slopey, so how will we plant like that? And then it turns out that's not the only issue. There's different soil profiles, and then now we have this area which kind of like, pulls water from the ground. So, Audrey, can you hold here so I can actually handle?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay, so here we actually made swales because we wanted to retain all of the moisture on these beds. This place is very slopey, so we were very worried about being able to retain that moisture. But what we saw is that on the last swale here, it's very, very swampy. It's just retaining a lot of moisture. And this is not what's happening with the other swales. So when we did a bit more of an investigation, we saw that water is actually coming up from the ground. So there is some sort of like underground spring thing happening on in this area. So what this means is that if we had actually planted a couple of beds of crops in here, they would probably be dead right now, because they would just be soggy, like this would not be very good for them. So like it's just all soggy, and it's flowing all the way down, because again, this place is like a slope. So this very big part here where we should actually be growing a lot of crops is now really a place that we can't really plant, things directly.
Yeah.
So we really now have to spend a lot more time thinking about how we actually would want to plant, out in this area. Yeah. And so, things like raised beds are probably something we have to consider. So a lot of planning also has to go into that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of planning in terms of what do we actually want to do with this area going forward as well. Do we really want to grow stuff? Because raised beds are also quite pricey to set up. Yeah. So we have to think about that.
Yeah. And these raised beds will probably be, they'll need to go a bit higher than usual, right? Because this is a lot of water. Like, just look at it, right? Like, this is just so much water that is really pooling up in this place, and it flows all the way down into our river. So there's ample amounts of water here. So we want to show you how the river is looking like, but then first let's go to the greenhouse, right? So the greenhouse presented another amazing surprise. And I don't know if you've watched our videos, but we love and we trust the greenhouse. It is the one place where we thought things would actually be okay. Within the greenhouse we have...
I'm getting stuck.
Are you getting stuck?
Are you not getting stuck?
I am. And look, we've lost like our lettuce and everything.
Yeah, everything that was here is gone. But at least we had cleared up most of the vegetables here.
Yeah. Like now we're gonna lose our flowers there as well.
Yeah. Okay, back to the... People need to know that it's not necessarily a greenhouse. It's because it has a green shed, so we call it our greenhouse.
The other thing as well is that, the grass has just grown so quickly over the past 2 weeks because, again, it's just been getting watered throughout.
Yeah, I know we've gotten a lot of recommendations to get goats, but we are not quite ready yet to have animals on the farm, so we are going to wait that out. Yeah. This place.
Yeah, it's very sad what's really happening here as well.
Yeah, Ignore all the other beds and let's focus on the nice things.
Yes.
So this is the beetroot. I think we showed a video actually setting up this garden, this side of the garden, the beetroot, the lettuce and the cabbages. And this is how it's actually looking like. Oof. Yeah, it doesn't look too great.
Yes. So we had just so much water in the past, few days that some of our crops are obviously suffering from that, right? This place is really just wet and soggy throughout. We also haven't had a lot of sun, right? So it really just has not helped with the drainage overall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no drainage at all. I mean, we've always had good results when it comes to lettuce.
yeah.
But it has not done well. And then our cabbage also does look like it is stunted a little bit. I think it's definitely the drainage in this place.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, remember when we got here, like the first day, there was water all across this area here as well. So the water is just being retained here as well. So we also will probably have to consider maybe changing the designs here, maybe a more raised bed approach here as well. Or maybe in the long term, I think an idea would just be to get proper like plastic covering over so that the water doesn't just flow inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Off to the river.
Yay!
But the beetroot is doing very well. I think I saw some here. Let me look at that.
Yeah, so let's show you the river. So it usually looks a bit cleaner than this because usually it's cut out all the way through, so you can see a lot of the things that's going on here.
And that we have had lots of people ask us, how far is your dam or your river to where you are growing your food, our vegetables? It's not far actually. I think it's about 80 to 100 meters, so that's why we are able to actually water for now ourselves without an irrigation system. But I don't know if you can actually see how the water is flowing here, but it's wet everywhere. You actually cannot walk without gumboots.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks very different.
Yeah. It's like we just cut this place 2 weeks ago. So everything is just overgrown now as well. Like the grass is coming from the bottom of our pallet bridge.
This was an attempt to just make this place a little dry. Goodness, it's scary to walk. The grass is very long.
Okay, so this is the flow of the river right now. This is the first time we've ever seen it this powerful and this strong. Usually, if you come, to this place any other time of the year, it's like a single stream. It's also very weak. So if you don't know, in our property, there are two rivers. And this part is actually supposed to be the weakest stream of them all. But then water has just been coming from all up, from the mountains. And it's been passing out through here. So it's really just a lot of water going through this property.
Yeah, and our farm extends to that other side, and we've not been able to cross for about a month now since the rain started, and we lost our bridge.
Yes, so the bridge was also taken out with the heavy rains. Yeah. So we actually have to build a bridge as well.
Yeah.
So this is really how much it's just been raining, and it's really intense.
So that's how it's looking right now. It doesn't look so bad through the video, but
It's bad.
it's bad.
Yeah.
It's really worrying, especially considering the top part of the farm is where we really wanted to grow most of our food. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're thinking of maybe digging some sort of like trench to direct the water and then elevate, the beds. We make them, raised beds and things like that.
Yeah.
So we'll just spend a bit more time looking to see what we can, and cannot do.
Yeah.
But the other thing that it really did, make us wonder is, should we be even growing these veggies in the first place?
Exactly. We
Right.
don't know if we want to continue food production.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
crops are so needy. They need to make sure that, like, a lot of them need, proper drainage.
Yeah.
Too much, too little water is a problem.
Yeah.
Otherwise, sometimes if it's fruits, they split, if they get too much or too little. So they can be very finicky, very, difficult. So we just don't want to be in a situation where we invest a lot of time and money, putting up these crops, and then this happens again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are going to see what we would do next. For now, we are just really worried because there's Cyclone Freddy coming through the low veld right now. So that's another challenge. And we have so many of our market tomatoes
Yeah.
that are ready for harvesting now. So
Yeah, we just don't know. Right now they're up there in the ground, but after, the cyclone, maybe they will end up in the river here as hydroponic plants. So we just never
that's
know.
not funny. That's not funny.
That's the reality here.
That's not funny. But yeah, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
It's not educational as always, but we want to try and show you the realities of what's going on our farm and try to mix it up with what you can expect when you are really wanting to homestead in South Africa or wherever you are in the world. I think the challenges are very similar.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of problem solving when you are on a homestead, right?
Yeah.
Each and every person, you can learn a lot from a homesteader, but each and every homestead has its unique challenges.
Yeah.
And this just happens to be our unique challenge here as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. We hope you like, we hope you subscribe, you share the video. Also comment, tell us, what can we do? I don't know if any of you have ever experienced such a, situation, but it would really just be nice to hear what you're all doing and what, the experiences were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.